Welcome to day 3 of our dozen days of December. On day 1, we briefly talked about 2 other tools, the sewing pin, and then we focused on sewing clips. Now both of those are ways you can hold fabric together, but there is another way. Today we're going to talk about a tool called Wonder Tape. Now Wonder Tape is a great tool to get for little sewists, because with Wonder Tape you don't need to worry about pins and you don't need to worry about clips. Wonder Tape is a double-sided tape that you can use to stick 2 pieces of fabric together or other elements or decorations that you might be using while you're sewing. Now, for instance, that could look like on my shirt I have a button, so I could use the Wonder Tape, stick the button onto the fabric, and then use my needle and thread to sew. And I don't have to worry about trying to hold the button and sew the button on at the same time, because the tape will just hold it and I can focus on my stitches. You can also use it in projects like this, where you have multiple layers and you can put the tape between these 2 layers and then tape between those 2 layers and then sew it together. So it kind of works as what we would call a basting stitch, and it holds them together without worrying about them moving. You can also use it for ribbon. Ribbon is really good to use Wonder Tape because you can make sure it's nice and flat, and then things like lace or any other things that you're trying to sew on to something else. We're going to take a closer look at Wonder Tape, and I'm going to show you how we can use it to hem something. So what we're going to do is we're going to hem this piece of fabric, and what that means is folding the bottom edge up and then sewing it, just so that it has a nice finished edge. Now you can do this by clipping or by pinning, but then as you sew you have to take those off and make sure they're not moving around. Or with Wonder Tape, it's going to keep it stuck together and we don't have to worry about that. Now Wonder Tape comes on a roll, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a finger in the middle hole and our thumb on the outside. We're going to find the end and lift it up, making sure that we get the plastic top and the sticky side. And we're going to slowly pull that off. We're going to put it down. This side is sticky, so we're going to stick that right down onto the fabric. And then we're going to cut it off when we have the piece that we need down on the fabric. Now when you're cutting it, you do not want to use your fabric scissors. You want to use just a plain old pair of scissors that you might use for other crafts. But if you use your fabric scissors, the stickiness of the tape is going to get onto your scissors, and then it's going to make them not work very well when you're cutting fabric. So I'm going to cut my Wonder Tape, and then I'm going to finger press it and make sure it's sticking really well down onto my fabric. Then I'm going to go to one end, and I'm going to just peel the top. Now if I'm peeling it and I'm seeing that there's nothing on the fabric, that means I have to finger press it a little bit more. And then try to peel off just the paper top like that. So when I'm getting just the paper top, we will start to see that there is kind of a whitish, shiny line now showing up on my fabric. Now when you first start, just peel very slowly, just to make sure that it is sticking down, and then you can peel the rest of the paper backing off. Now the paper backing was on there because now this side is also sticky. So it's called double-sided tape because there's sticky on one side and sticky on the other side. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to fold this up and stick this side of the fabric to this side of the fabric. So I'm going to fold and finger press. And we can see that it's staying up because it's now stuck onto the other fabric. So whether you're folding a piece of fabric to hem it, or you have two pieces of fabric together that you're going to sew, Wonder Tape is a great tool to use. And it just allows you to make sure that you've got everything lined up really well when you're sewing. Let's now go take a look at our ambassadors, and they're going to show you some other ways to use your Wonder Tape.
This is Wonder Tape. It is a double-sided tape that comes off in the washing machine when you wash it, and we have already put the tape on there, and I'm going to show an example of peeling it off. And when you do sew the zipper into the pouch, it's not scary at all. And now I'm going to peel it off. Now it's kind of hard sometimes. And don't go really fast, like speeding fast when you start, because then you might actually, like, if you're in a hurry and you're like, then try and speed. And now I'm gonna stick this on. I've already taped both sides together, and now I'm going to show you how to sew it.
What are you using? Wonder Tape. What are you doing with it? Is that to put your pieces together? Yeah. Do we need to cut that piece now? Yeah.
See?
Is it sticky? Yeah. Is that gonna let the other fabric stick onto this one? Yeah. Keep it from moving.
Make it go.
Yep, you got it?
Like this on.
Can you line them up?
Line them up. Huh?
Oh, see, now they're stuck together. So Wonder Tape is a double-sided tape, and it's great because it washes off in the washing machine, so you don't have to worry about your project staying sticky, and it also doesn't get your needle in your sewing machine, or if you're hand stitching, sticky or gummed up either. So whether you're a first-time sewist or you've sewn a lot of projects, there's always a time to use Wonder Tape, and it's a great tool to use to hold your fabric together and make your sewing experience just a little bit easier. Hope you have a chance to try it out, and we'll see you again tomorrow.